Hello and welcome to another pen video from me, Penultimate Dave. So I have here another 10 pens currently inked for this week. So I think let's go through these briefly one by one. We'll go through these in a little bit more detail and then we'll do a writing sample. So from left to right we have the Atelier Lusso Andromeda in the King Cobra, an Atelier Lusso Andromeda in the Vulcan's Forge, a Visconti Toledo Voyager in the Forest Green, a Visconti Toledo Voyager in the Yellow Dawn, a Pelican M805 in the Vibrant Blue, a Pelican M800 in the Grand Place, a Twisty Vac 700R, a Scribble Bofill in the Blue Grey, a Scribble Bofill in the Blue Black, and last but not least a Montegrappa Extra 1930 Shiny Lines Dove. So I think let's go and look at these pens in a little bit more detail. So this is the Atelier Lusso Andromeda King Cobra. This was made by Eric at Atelier Lusso, and this is, if you want to search him out, he's lussopens.com. This was a material that I handpicked myself and I asked Eric to buy in and make a pen out of. It's a really lovely material. It's got a King Cobra head on the cap there. Now I had the option of having the King Cobra on the body and I thought about it, but I thought it would actually, seeing that there was no clip for this pen, that actually having the King Cobra on the cap would actually make a little bit more sense. Now this is a very cylindrical pen. There really isn't much shape to it, but that's what I like about these Andromedas. Now you get a very flush sort of finish there between the cap and the body, but you can see this material really is quite stunning. This comes with a number 6 size Yovo nib, and I've got it in a broad nib. It's a cartridge converter, but for me this is just a really good writer. And then we have another Atelier Lusso, and this is the Andromeda, and this is the Vulcan's Forge. And again, another material that I handpicked, and I really wanted an orange material. I had a lot of pens coming from Eric that he was hand turning, and I realised I didn't have an orange material. And I like writing with orange inks, and I like matching the ink colours to the pen colours. So I very quickly searched for a lovely fiery orange, and the idea really was to have this inked up with Sailor Gentle Apricot or maybe Pelican Edelstein Mandarin, and I think both of those inks actually match this pen quite nicely. And again, this is actually a number 6 style, number 6 size nib. It's a broad nib, it's a Yovo nib. Again, this is a cartridge converter pen. And then we have this one, and it's a Visconti Toledo Voyager in the Forest Green, and this is the Toledo pattern. It's a really lovely pattern, and it's a pattern that I've always liked, that Visconti have done on a number of different pens and different pen colours and pen materials, but this really is nice. It doesn't come with the My Pen finial, so you cannot remove the finial on the cap. It has the old style Visconti keel clip, keel as in a keel on a boat, and it comes with a lovely 14 karat gold nib, and this is one of the older style Visconti nibs, and this is a fine nib, but it's quite an interesting nib, and I do actually like this quite a lot, even though I don't normally go for fine nibs. It's a cartridge converter pen, but for me it writes quite nicely. And then again we have another Visconti Toledo Voyager in the Yellow Dawn, and again I just love this Toledo pattern. I think ultimately I'd like to have more of these if I can, if I find them. I know there are other materials, it's just trying to find when pens become available, and it's almost a waiting game a lot of the time. But this is a beautiful, stunning material. Again, it's got the keel clip there. It's got a gold finial, but it's not My Pen system, and it's again has a 14 karat gold nib. This is a medium nib, but this is one of the older style Visconti nibs, and it's just a nib that I do like writing with a lot. And then we have a Pelican, and this is the Pelican M805 in the Vibrant Blue. Now, I thought this was long sold out. It was a material that I really wanted to add to my collection. I like this transparent black, sort of blue, sort of black, a little bit sort of black here. You can see through the transparent material, but it's a blue cracked ice. So if I actually unscrew the nib, you can see there that nib is actually that material is very transparent or translucent. But this is a beautiful pen. It's a Pelican M805, and I just like the Pelican M805s. This comes with a broad 18 karat gold nib. Now these Pelican nibs actually typically are quite rigid, quite firm, but I do like how they write, especially the broad nibs. And then we have another one here. This is the Pelican M800, and this is the lovely Grand Place. And again, you can see the Pelican cap finial logo there, and the Pelican bill clip. But this material, again, is quite nice. And you can just see that material, the swirls going on there. So I was glad I was able to pick this one up. Again, it was another waiting game. It's, again, another 18 karat gold broad nib. But I saw this at the London Pen Show, and I'd seen it beforehand, and I'd seen a couple of sellers selling it, and unfortunately they were all more than what I wanted to pay for this pen. And then when I went to the London Pen Show, the prices had gone up, which a lot of people say, oh, the prices go down at a pen show. Yes, they can do, but also sometimes the sellers realise that they have a captive audience, so they put their prices up. So that's just something to do your homework on. So I decided not to buy it at a pen show, and then about 3 months later I noticed on the seller's website it was still available and it was at a lower price. So I decided at that point I was going to buy it, and I bought it, and there it is in my collection. And then we have the Twisty Vac 700R, and I do like this pen. It's a pen that I actually decided not to buy for a long time, and actually, to be honest, I didn't buy it. I received it as a present. But I do like this, and the reason why I didn't buy it for so long was I have so many Twisby 580s, and I like them, but I just didn't see the need to buy another Twisby and another slightly more expensive Twisby. This comes with a steel nib. It's a broad nib. It's a power vac filler or a vacuum filler, but I like it. I really do like it. And honestly, if I wanted some more workhorse pens, I'd probably buy some more of these, because they're not necessarily cheap. I think they're about £78, maybe £75, something around there in the UK. But for me, they do write well. So if I wanted a workhorse pen that I wanted to chuck around in my pocket and not worry about it getting lost or damaged, I probably would pick that pen, because it has a much higher ink capacity. And then we have a Scribble Bofill inked up, and this is a Scribble Bofill in the blue-grey finish. The fill is this sort of bulbous sort of hourglass shape, and this has a lovely ruthenium trim going on here on this pen, and I just love it. It's not only this bulbous hourglass shape, but it's also faceted as well, and it comes with a 14 karat gold ruthenium trim nib and with an ebonite feeder, and it's just a joy to write with. A 14 karat gold flex nib. I love these Scribos, so I have that one inked up this week. And then another Scribble Bofill I have inked up is this blue black, and again it's the same model, just a different colour. They're both piston fillers, and they both hold around 1 milliliter of ink. And again, I'm a sucker for these 14 karat gold nibs. It's 14 karat gold flex nib in a medium, and I just love them. So for me, I have that one inked up again this week. And then last but not least, we have the Montegrappa Extra 1930 Shiny Lines Dove, and that material is absolutely stunning. This Was a Goulet exclusive, and it's long sold out now. You might still be able to pick it up on the second-hand market if someone's selling one, but I just love it. It's a piston filling pen. Unlike a lot of Montegrappas, it actually has a celluloid coloured section and not a silver coloured section that would tarnish over time. It has a larger number 8 size Montegrappa nib, and this is an 18 karat gold medium nib. It doesn't quite look as though it's a number 8 size nib, but it's pushed more into the section. I just find these really, really nice pens. Holding a milliliter of ink, it's a great writing experience. So that's my Currently Ink pens for this week. So I think with that, let's go and do a writing sample. The first pen we have here is the Atelier Lusso Andromeda in the King Cobra. So let's do an ink swatch. You can see this is a really lovely wet nib. I love this ink in here as well. It's just a beautiful, it's a very sort of thick ink. It's not a watery ink, but it's an ink I like. So it's an Atelier Lusso Andromeda in the King Cobra, and it's a broad steel nib, and then the ink in here is Diamine, and it's Skull and Roses, which is a German exclusive ink, but it's an ink I like a lot. It's a sheening ink as well, so you do have to be a bit careful with the ink because it can get everywhere. The next pen I have inked up is an Atelier Lusso Andromeda in the Vulcan's Forge. So we'll do an ink swatch. You can see why I purchased this material for the pen, because it really, I think, matches the pen quite nicely. So it's an Atelier Lusso Andromeda in the Vulcan's Forge in a broad steel nib. And then the ink in here is Sailor Gentle Apricot. And if you can't get apricot because it's actually quite a hard ink to get hold of nowadays, you can get hold of another ink which is very, very close, if not almost identical, and that's Sailor Kinmakusai. The next pen is the Visconti Toledo Voyager in the Forest Green. We'll do an ink swatch here. Now, this is a fine nib, but it's still quite a wet nib, although it did come writing a lot drier, and I have lost the tines since. So this is a Visconti Toledo Voyager, and it's in the Forest Green, and it's a fine, and it's a 14 karat gold nib. It's 14 karat, just double check this. Yes, it is. And then the ink in here is Diamine Marine. Oh, got a little bit of a hair on the nib there between the tines. That's a beautiful ink. And then the next pen is again the Visconti Toledo Voyager in the Yellow Dawn. Do an ink swatch here. Now this is strangely a medium nib, but to me it writes a little bit more like a fine. So it's a Visconti Toledo Voyager, and it's the Yellow Dawn in a medium, again 14 karat gold nib. And then the ink in here again is this one, Sailor Gentle Apricot. Again, it's a beautiful ink. And then the next pen is a Pelican M805 in the vibrant blue. So let's do an ink swatch here. You'll see that this is a broad nib and it's a very wet nib as well. And that's typically why I like these Pelican M805s or M800 broad nibs. They're just very wet. So it's a Pelican M805 in the vibrant, if I can spell, vibrant blue, and it's a broad, and it's an 18 cat gold nib, and then the ink in here is Pilot Iroshizuku Asa Gayo, which is a lovely blue ink. It's very vibrant blue, I find. Quite a punchy blue. And then the next pen is a Pelican M800 Grand Plus. So let's do an ink swatch here. And this is a Pelican M800. It's a Grand Plus, and again it's a broad 18 cat gold nib, and the ink in here is Jeheben Li de Te, which is tea leaves in English. The next pen is the Twisty Vac 700R, so we'll do an ink swatch. And again, this is a broad nib, although I do find Twisby nibs tend to write not quite as broad as most Western nibs. So this is a Twisby Vac 700R, and you can see the difference here really between the Pelicans and the Twisby, and they're all broad nibs. So this is a broad steel nib, and then the ink in here is Diamine Cult Pens Robert, which is obviously an exclusive ink to Cult Pens. And then the next pen is the Scribble Bofill in the blue grey. So let's do an ink swatch. Now this is quite a wet nib, but it's also a bouncy flexy nib as well. So it's the Scribble Bofill in the blue grey, and it is a medium 14 cat gold nib, and then the ink in here is Pilot Iroshizuku Kirisami. But you can see how you can get some line variation out of this nib. It's just a really fun nib to be able to write with. And then the next pen is a Scribe Oh Fill in the blue black. So we'll do an ink swatch again. And again, these nibs write very wet, and they're just, for me, a dream to write with. So it's a Scribble Bofill in the blue black, and it's a medium, again 14 cat gold nib, and the ink in here is Pilot Iroshizuku Kujaku. But again, these 14 karat gold flex nibs, you can put quite a bit of line variation down. They are very flexy, very bouncy nibs. And then the last pen is the Montegrappa Extra 1930 Shiny Lines Dove. So let's do an ink swatch. And this has a little bit of a flex to it, not a massive amount, not like the Scribos, but it does have a slight line variation going on here. So it's the Montegrappa Extra 1930 Shiny Lines Dove, and it's a medium. You can just see there that line variation, and it's an 18 cat gold nib, and then the ink in here is Diamine Earl Grey. And then when I say about the line variation, you can get a bit more. It's not quite as much as the Scribos. It's not a flex nib, but you can get some line variation out of it. So I think let's go through these pens inked up one more time. We have an Atelier Lusso Andromeda in the King Cobra in a broad steel nib, inked up with Diamine Skull and Roses. We have an Atelier Lusso Andromeda Vulcan's Forge in a broad steel nib, inked up with Sailor Gentle Apricot. We have a Visconti Toledo Voyager in the Forest Green with a fine 14 karat gold nib, inked up with Diamine Marine. We have a Visconti Toledo Voyager Yellow Dawn in a medium 14 karat gold nib, inked up with Sailor Gentle Apricot. And you can see the two slightly different shades of apricot there between a medium and a broad nib. We have a Pelican M805 in the vibrant blue with a broad 18 karat gold nib, inked up with Pilot Washizuku Azageo. We have a Pelican M800 Grand Place in a broad 18 karat gold nib, inked up with Jehaban Lidate. We have a Twisty Vac 700R in a broad steel nib, inked up with Diamine Colt Pens Robert. We have a Scribe Oh Fill in the blue-grey in a medium 14 karat gold nib, inked up with Pilot Washizuku Kirisami. We have a Scribe Oh Fill in the blue-black in a medium 14 karat gold nib, inked up with Pilot Washizuku Kujaku. And then last but not least, we have a Montegrappa Extra 1930 Shiny Lines Dove in a medium 18 karat gold nib, inked up with Diamine Earl Grey. So there you have it. That's my Currently Inked pens for this week. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next pen video. Bye bye.